Today, I'm going to show you the exact heist strategy we use to commit daylight robbery and collect well over $50,000 from a single client in just 1 month. Yes, you heard that right. That's over 50 rock solid racks cash collected in the bank from a single client in a single month. And yes, that is also more than most agencies will make with over 24 clients on $2,000 a month retainers. Now, we do this without having to worry about churn because we don't charge our clients retainers. We do this without having to run ads and constantly try to find new clients to replace ones that churned in the month previous. We do this without having to manage large teams and deal with all the headaches that come as a result of that. We do this without having to manage 25 clients to hit a $100,000 a month run rate. And we do this without having to worry about chargebacks, refunds, and unhappy customers. And we can sleep well at night knowing we deliver some of the best results in the industry. Now, before we get into this, I want to address the elephant in the room. There are thousands of keyboard warriors who are going to watch this video and say there's no way that this curly-haired fucking kid sitting in his apartment with a cigarello tucked behind his ear, which he's going to smoke after he's done recording this video, has charged a client over $50,000 in a single month. Now, the proof is in the pudding. Here's a bank statement, well over $50,000 deposited in this bank account via wire or direct transfer. I can't remember which one it is, but screenshots there. If you don't believe me, save yourself the pain, click off this video. For those of you who want to stick around, why should you stick around and watch the rest of this video? Now, if you were like me just over 2.5 years ago and you're an agency owner who is stuck between 10, 25K a month, or maybe you're a little bit further along and you're wondering if it's even possible to break through the ceiling that you're currently facing, you're dealing with client complaints every day, you feel like you're a slave to your service delivery process and that your team doesn't actually deliver results, and it really just doesn't seem scalable because you're running on thin margins, then I'm going to show you how to do a number of things in this video today. The first is going to be how you can acquire high-paying clients that have the potential to pay you well over $50,000 in a single month. The second is how to structure compensation agreements with your clients and your partners that will incentivize them to stay with you, one, forever, and two, to feel really good about paying you 25 times or more than any other agency in your space. And last, but definitely not least, is how to deliver absolutely outstanding results for your clients and partners so that you can build a nuclear case study that will serve as the foundation for the rest of your career. You don't need to have 25 somewhat subpar case studies. All you need is that one golden goose case study that will take you from here to here. And I'm speaking as somebody who has experience doing exactly that. Now, so you have a bit more context into what we do as a business. Fuck, my computer's gonna die. Now, so that you have a bit more context into what we do as a business, over the last 12 months, we've serviced over 1,000 agency owners, coaches, and consultants and helped them install this exact same growth structure into their business. And so they don't have to sit on this video and throat fuck you with case studies. If you want to take a look at what we've done for them, just click the link below this video and you'll be able to scroll through them on your own. In short, we take high quality online products and services and put them in the hands of the people that need them at scale. Before you click off this video, because this all seems too good to be true and it seems like a unique one-off situation, and you assume that maybe I was able to do this with my team because I have a super high IQ or I'm just smarter than you are. It's not the case. In fact, 3 years ago, I was sat in my parents' garage and I received a few messages from my clients that threatened the future of my business as well as my career. At the time, I was an 18-year-old kid who had just dropped out of the best business school in Canada on a full ride scholarship. I had everything to prove to myself, my parents, the people around me, and the people that I used to have around me at school and in the environments that I used to be a part of. Now, something that I've never really told anybody, and it's ironic the first time this is coming out is on a camera being published on a public YouTube video that's going online, is that growing up, I used to wake up in the middle of the night to my parents arguing over money. It's not that we came from a poor household. In fact, we grew up in a very nice house in East Vancouver in an amazing country like Canada with a family that loved me, and it was amazing. The problem is that we were living that upper middle class life on an upper middle class salary, and things were just tight. There were things that I wanted to do in my life that we couldn't do, and there were things that my parents did for me that they shouldn't have been able to do. And as a result, there was always this lingering, unaddressed elephant in the room and thoughts in the back of my mind that cash was tight. We all knew that, and that I was a big part of the reason why cash was tight. I know my parents would never give that up for the world, but the fact of the matter is, I grew up worrying about money. Now, the reason I dropped out of such a prestigious business school on a full ride scholarship was because after 1.5 terms there, I could see 4 years ahead and knew that I would be stuck in the same upper middle class rat race that almost everybody in my neighborhood that I grew up in was. And I also knew that if I wanted to be able to provide for my family and my parents like I wanted to, that just wasn't the path for me. So the plan was drop out of school, find a way to make 10 to 20K a month, and be able to take my career to the next level before anybody that I went to school with was able to graduate and get placed at a $6,000 to $10,000 a month job. I wanted the head start, and I wanted to be able to take things 10 times further than anybody else could. Now, the problem was that about a year after dropping out, I was sat in my garage at $10,000 to $15,000 a month running an SMMA. I was creating content for brands in the luxury space like Ferrari, Maserati, a bunch of Michelin star restaurants. We had a team of 3 people, and we were loaded to the tits. We were running on thin margins, and when I say thin margins, I mean at a $15,000 a month top line run rate, I was making maybe $2,000, $2,500 a month. And we were caught in this never-ending cycle of sign a new client, churn an old client, and the new client we signed was always for the same price that we had churned the old client for, because the service industry that we were participating in was so commoditized that we had no room to increase our price because everybody was jam-packing as much value into their service as possible. So you end up being stuck in this place of hyper competition with no ability to move your price up or down. And really the only differentiator that you had was the ability to move your price down. It was just a race to the bottom. So I was sat there in the garage with my dad, literally pulling my hair out, saying, I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm failing. I hate my life. I want to shut this agency down. All I ever do is deal with clients' complaints. And every time I try and address them, a new client churns. So I have to go out and find a new one to bring on board. I'm just stuck. I don't know how to get past $15K a month. I don't know how to make more than $2,500 a month in net margin at the end of each month. I think I have to go back to university. And at that moment, the prospect of having to go back to university, asking my parents to now pay for a program that I once had a full ride scholarship for, and then on top of that, having them have to pay for my rent, my school books, my food for the next 4 years of my life, felt like death to me because it stressed me out that the whole reason why I started this in the first place was to figure out a way to provide for my family in a way that would be better off than what I currently had set up. And I felt like I had to go back to the place I just came from and go back in a worse scenario than I left it in. Now, the problem I had to overcome is that I thought $10,000 was a completely insurmountable amount of money to pay an agency month over month. And that's because the industry I was functioning in and the niche I was functioning in, nobody got paid more than $2,500 a month for what they did. So instead of getting creative and working backward from figuring out how to make $10,000 a month, I was looking at it from the perspective of how do I add more value to my existing service to add $10,000 a month to it. And the problem is that everybody else in my industry was thinking the same thing, but competing with the only differentiator being price. So it was a race to the bottom. I couldn't differentiate really on value. I could only differentiate on price, which is the reason why I couldn't charge $10K a month. So now that you understand exactly where I'm coming from and what we've done, I'm going to spend the rest of this video talking about exactly what I did to change the situation and put us in the position today where we can now bill clients over $50,000 a month and have them feel absolutely amazing about paying us that cash. Step number 1, you have to change your mindset from how can I bill a client $10,000 a month to how can I make a client an extra $100,000 a month and take a 10% fee in exchange for providing that value of service. It allows you to look at the real pain points and the real places where you can provide actual value to businesses and then work backward from those pain points and find ways to service them with the highest leverage activities to generate them the most amount of return, and in return for that, be able to charge them the most amount of money and have them feel the best about paying it to you. So I'm going to tell you to do exactly what we did. Work with one client, work backwards from figuring out how to add anywhere between $100,000 and $1 million a month to their business, and then take anywhere between 10 and 20% performance on that so that you can build them anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 a month. And then you're going to take this case study, you're going to use it to acquire new clients, and then you're going to duplicate the results that you did for this one business for every client that comes through your doors from that point forward. Now, there's going to be 2 kinds of people who are watching this video. The first are going to be the ones who have no clients, and the second are going to be the people that do have clients. And whether or not you're somebody who has a few clients and is trying to figure out how to restructure your model to make more cash, or you're somebody with an absolutely bussin' agency that has 25 plus clients and you're still feeling like you need to make some adjustments because you're stuck in this client getting rat race at low margins, I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do in both of your situations. So if you have no clients, the first thing I'd recommend doing is exactly what I did. Put in free work on performance, get results, track your metrics, bill for that performance. Build a nuclear case study by focusing all your time and effort on that one client. Because you're on performance, the more inputs you put in and the outputs you get, the more money you're going to make, which means that you won't have to go worrying about signing another 25 clients to hit your 10K month mark. Just put more time into that one client so you can build a nuclear case study and set the right foundations for the rest of your career. Now, if you have existing clients, this is going to be way easier for you. All you have to do is look at your existing client pool, look at their businesses from an objective perspective, and try and figure out where the biggest pain point they're facing is right now. The cool thing about business is that pains almost always, actually in fact they always do, lead to the business becoming more valuable and in turn making more money. So the next thing you're going to do is, once you identify that pain, figure out what you need to do in order to solve it, and in turn figure out how you can track how solving that problem is going to make them more cash. Next thing you're going to do is go to your clients and restructure your agreements with them. You're going to give them some goodwill. You're going to say, I don't want you to pay me retainer anymore. I want to work on performance because I believe in my ability to perform for you, and I want to make sure that I'm compensated fairly for the amount of value that I'm about to bring to you. Here's a pain point that I'm seeing in your business. Here's how I'm going to solve it. All you have to do is take a bet on me and my time and make sure that you're willing to pay me anywhere between 10 and 20% of the attributed top line revenue that I bring into your business on top of what you're currently doing. Not what you're currently doing, only on what we add. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to get great results. You're going to track your metrics. You're going to bill for the great results you get from tracking your metrics. You're going to build a nuclear case study to build the right foundation for you to scale the rest of your agency and your career on top of. They might be sitting there asking, how do I know what kind of business to target? What kind of niche to go after? How do I make this the most efficient process possible to get from 0 to 50K a month? Now, there are a couple of things we looked for when we first made the transition from SMMA managing a bunch of social media accounts to full-scale growth partner ready to add $100,000 to $1 million a month in top-line revenue to businesses. The first thing we looked for was, is the business doing above $50,000 a month? And the reason why we look for this is because the upfront investment for that business, whether it's a setup fee of $2,500 or $15,000, seems quite small to them because it's not their entire month's pay or half a year worth of revenue for them. On top of this, a business that's already at 50 to 100K a month is at a point where they've probably already established a lead acquisition source. They have really solid service delivery. However, they haven't been able to prove out how to scale that lead acquisition source efficiently and need some help. The second thing that we look for is high ticket prices. I don't like selling products that are under $5,000 because what that means is that I have to sell 10 times more to get the same results if it's under 5K than I would if I was selling something that's 50K. So what we look for is businesses that are doing over 50K a month that are selling high ticket products that we can sell online without having to be face to face with people. This is going to allow us to implement and scale faster because you're going to have budget for things like ad spend, you're going to have budget for things like your setup fees, and you're not going to really have to worry about their ability to deliver for their clients and customers. The second thing you're going to look for is a high ticket price so that every sale you make, you have a huge return and a huge lever to pull in exchange for your time. So that instead of making a $500 commission on a $5,000 product in exchange for 10% of added revenue, you're making $5,000 in exchange for 10% of added revenue on a $50,000 sale. The last thing you're going to look for are ironically businesses in more traditional industries. The reason for this is these traditional industries really haven't tapped into this whole new era of digital marketing, and most of the agencies that you see are already servicing things like e-com brands, coaches, consultants, other agencies. All the offers you see being pumped on Meta and Google right now for agencies are all targeted toward online businesses. That being said, these more traditional businesses you can absolutely send. The first client that we ripped on a performance model that we were able to build this $50,000 a month to wasn't in any of those niches at all. In fact, it was probably in one of the oldest industries the world has to offer. You might be sitting there saying, well, all of my agency clients currently are e-com brands and agencies and coaches and consultants because that's what you've been fed and told to believe is the only way to scale your agency to 50K, 20K plus per month. If you're wondering how you can shift that and find a new client base without completely screwing up what you've currently built, I would just try reaching out to my personal network. That's how I've built almost all of my businesses. And if there's one thing I've come to realize, your network is way more powerful than it seems to be. Somewhere within 1 to 3 degrees of separation, meaning that it might take one intro, it might take a second intro or a third intro in terms of degrees of people between you and this person. There are people within your network, either immediate or 3 degrees out, that are running businesses that are doing over 50K a month. It's just a matter of fact. All you got to do is look around and you'll find them. So if you want to find a way to get a business in a new industry to work with you on a new structure like this, reach out to your network and see who's willing to give you some time and bet on you. They don't even have to pay you to see if you can add an extra $100,000 or $50,000 a month to the top line of their business and would be willing to pay you 10% of what you make them as a thank you. So now that you have your prospect on the phone or in conversation with you, the only thing you have left to do is close the deal. And you're going to do that by doing one thing, and that's removing risk. Retainers don't have to be the way. In fact, in this case, they probably aren't the way. If this is your first client ever for an offer like this, there's a really easy way for you to still get compensated for your time up front, not have to put in free work, and also still get compensated for the results you generate on performance. For a business that's doing $50,000 a month, asking for a $2,500 or a $5,000 setup fee should be a no-brainer. And if it's not, add a risk remover guarantee in there along the lines of, I'll work for free until I generate you enough revenue to break even on your investment with me. Once you have that out of the way, then negotiate your terms for your performance. So that'll be 10 or 20%, somewhere in between. It's all good. Get to work, implement, and scale. Now, if you've done this a couple times and you know the results you're going to get based on data from the real world, I would think about charging a larger setup fee on a guaranteed cashback basis and then still charging the same performance on the back end. You're probably thinking, how do I even structure an offer like this? And I'm going to walk you through exactly how we structure our offer that we've used to service over 1,000 clients in the last 12 months. If you haven't read it already, read the book $100 Million by Alex Hormozi. He'll be able to explain this better than I will. It's exactly where I got this framework from, but I'll break it down for you super simply and super quickly. The first thing you're going to do is start by identifying an ICP, which is your ideal customer profile. The more niche, the more specific this is, the better. In our case, this is agencies, coaches, and consultants. The second thing is identifying a dream outcome or a value prop that they're going to be getting in exchange for purchasing your product or service. So in our case, this is adding $25,000 to these ICP's businesses. Then you're going to add a time frame. In our case, it's 90 days. Then you're going to add a removal of some sort of input. So that would be things like effort, money, or time, or anything else that you might be able to think. So in our case, that would be without having to have the guesswork. So we'll remove the guesswork for you. And then we're going to add a differentiator. So this will be your unique selling point. And in our case, this is daily consultation from 7-figure SMMA owners. The last thing you're going to do is add a risk remover. So this is going to be your guarantee. We take a funny approach to this and we guarantee that you're a complete moron if you don't add 25K to your business. If you want to take something a little bit more traditional and add a risk remover, you can do something like, we'll do this for you or you don't pay, or we'll do this for you or we'll work for free until we do. Personally, I like the you don't pay option a little bit more because it's more of a risk remover, but that is completely up to you. So altogether, you're going to have an ICP, you're going to add a dream outcome or a value prop from the ICP using your service. You're going to add a time frame for how long it's going to take to deliver that dream outcome. You're going to add a removal of some sort of input, whether that's effort, money, or time, or something else you can identify. You're going to add a differentiator, and you're going to add a risk remover. So for us, it would sound something like this. Agency owners, coaches, and consultants. We will help you add 25K to your business in the next 90 days by removing all the guesswork through daily consultation from a 7-figure SMMA team, or we will guarantee that you're a complete moron and you don't pay. So after you've serviced your first client using an offer like this, you can take that exact formula, plug it in, use it to secure larger setup fees in the front end by removing all the risk for your client, making it seem like a no-brainer offer for them, and then from there, be able to charge the same performance on the back end. What the setup fee will help you do is cover some of the setup costs so that you can actually have a really great world-class team to help you implement these things at scale. Think things like funnel designers, media buyers, creative strategists, whatever it is that you need in order to deliver your service and provide the most amount of value to your customers and clients so that you can charge them the most amount on the back end for performance. You should be using that setup fee to pay those people on the front end so that you're not paying out of pocket. Now that you have your client or partner through the door, it's time to service them. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to walk you through exactly what we do to service our clients and get the best possible results. This is going to look different for everybody who's running an offer like this. That being said, take what you will from what I share with you, implement it, feel free to copy absolutely everything, or use it as a foundation to build your own service delivery systems. You're going to have to start by setting the right foundations. Editor, do a graphic overlay here. I'm going to read it off my computer. So for us, that looks like we don't have any regularly scheduled check-in calls. We have centralized communications on Slack only, and this is a huge one. I know so many people in the agency space that are running communications on iMessage, WhatsApp, Slack, the whole 9 yards. And what ends up happening is clients just end up getting missed. I made the same mistake. I was running our agency on 4 different communication platforms, including email, and we ended up just missing things from clients, and as a result, they churned. It was part of the reason why I was so stressed out in my garage at 18. So do yourself a favor, avoid all that pain. Make sure that all of your clients are on Slack using Connect channels. Your entire team is in their channel, and they can be serviced on short response times as best as possible. Number 3, 24/7 Slack access to your entire team. So that kind of feeds right into that previous point. Make sure that your clients have the know-withal, that they can message that channel any time of day. They can huddle anybody in that channel any time of day. They'll get a response from our team. So they're not just ringing you on the phone all day, all night, just like they were with me, and it was stressing me out. Your team can also deal with client concerns. In fact, once you have a team in place, they will probably be able to deal with them better than you can. Number 4, we have a 30-question plus onboarding form. In that onboarding form, we learn everything about the business from their origin story to all their features and case studies, notable achievements, brand, tone, mission, vision. We get the founder to film a 1-minute video. We even get them to list all of their favorite competitors for the businesses that they use as inspiration as they scale their own. The objective of this form is for them to be able to fill it out fully async so that you don't have to have an onboarding call with them, and you and your team can know everything about the business that you need to know in order to take it from where it's currently at to $100,000 plus and add a top line revenue. And last but not least, because we don't have regular client check-in calls, we do bi-weekly Slack updates. One of those Slack updates is a stats review. So, hey, here are the stats from the previous week. Here's the results we're getting. We're on track or we're off track for our targets. And the other one are the updates, adjustments, and improvements we've made. So things like, here's some of the things we're split testing. Here's some of the adjustments on the lead nurture flows that we have to increase your show rate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This way, the client never has to ask questions about what's going on. They're trained to know that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're going to be receiving a message, and they'll feel like everything is transparent from your team and that you guys are dialed in on top of everything. Next is the implementation. So for us, we start with market research, and we're going to base this on the list of competitors that our clients submit in their onboarding form. We're going to do a deep dive into all those competitors, as well as do a bit more research to see if there's other ones that are performing in their space. Then we're going to use SimilarWeb to go and check their traffic sources. Are they getting it from ads on Meta or Google? Are they doing it from organic? Where's that coming from? Instagram, website, YouTube, you name it. And then we'll also go and check those competitors' ads on Facebook ad library and Google Transparency. And then from there, we'll take it one step deeper. What a lot of agencies will do and where they fail is they just basically funnel hack their way into service delivery. And that's not a great way to get good results. If you just funnel hack your way into service delivery, you're going to get average results. If you want nuclear results for that nuclear case study, you're going to have to find a way to craft an offer that slaps harder than a finance bro who's at a strip club on a Friday night after on... Okay. That's fucked. So I'm not going to go over all that again, but I want to impart 2 pieces of knowledge onto you that took me a long time to learn, but have made all the difference in the places in how we launch offers and how we craft offers. The first is know where your ICP is and know how to target them. Do not market to your ICP on Facebook if they're only on Google. Do not market to your ICP on organic YouTube if they only spend their time on Instagram. So once you identify your ICP, know where they spend their time and focus your efforts on acquisition through that channel. And number two is market to your leads and acquire your new customers the same way that you would use to acquire customers and scale the businesses of your own clients. So a great example of this is I run an email marketing agency. So I do cold email outbound and I service agencies to help them bring in an extra 15 clients a month. It is the easiest offer to sell because it's a completely self-selling proposition. I will use the same system that I use for my clients to get them results to close clients and get results from my business, right? So by the time a lead comes through your funnel and gets onto a call with you, they're not asking how your system works or if it works or questioning it at all because they've already been through it. They know why it works because they're on the call with you. And if they're asking you, hey, is this actually going to convert on the back end? Am I going to get appointments? Am I going to get closes? All you have to do is pull up your Stripe and your calendar and say, if you don't believe me, I do this for my own business. And you can see the case studies, but more important than not, I'm doing $500,000 a month for myself. I'm booking 400 meetings a month for myself with this exact system. It's a self-selling proposition. It'll be the easiest sales call you've ever had. So there's two things you can do as you line up offers for yourself and for your clients. It's understand where your ICP spends their time. And two, try to make sure that the method in which you acquire your leads and new customers is the same method in which you're going to acquire leads and customers for the clients you service. Now, the rest of our service delivery is pretty standard. It's basically the same thing as the rest of the agencies that you'll see online. We build funnels on ClickFunnels. We run ads. We do split testing for things like CRO, ad creatives. We run ad accounts. We build out lead nurture sequences and revenue operations on CRMs for our clients. Everything that's required to get results, that's the daily inputs. But the real sauce comes into understanding, one, how to structure your offer, and two, how to make sure that that offer is put in the right place, and three, how to make sure that that offer converts very well. And that's really the only thing we're going over in this video, which all comes back to the idea of shift your mindset, change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at are going to change in return. So if you want to change the way you look at things and you feel like you need help from a team of seven-figure operators who are trained in the exact same systems we've used to build clients over $50,000 in a single month, click the link below, book a time to chat with them, and we'll see if we're able to help you out.